Hey, thanks for tuning into the channel today. This video is going to be a little bit different than the ones I normally do, but if it's your first time here, my name is Josh. I'm a musician who plays and makes music under the name of Ragged Oak. And yeah, there's a lot going on this table in front of me, and there's kind of a story that goes alongside with it. So I'm going to try to get us where we're going the best I can. Usually my videos are pretty scripted. I know what's going to be said and where I'm going with them. And this one, I guess you're going to see me somehow trying to be myself on camera because this is going to be more of a live stream vibe, but I don't have the equipment to effectively do a live stream, so I'm just gonna wing it. But the main thing that's going to happen on today's episode is that I am going to build the JHS Notaklön on video for all of you. But this is kind of a bit of serendipity here, because also yesterday, October 27th, was the 1-year anniversary of my first album, Letters to Godman and Myself, which I'm really excited for. So this is going to be both a birthday celebration for the album and also just building this pedal so that you guys can all see that. A little bit of the story into why these things are all aligning. First, my dear friend Andy and his wife and my wife and their kids, we do a gift exchange every Christmas season, and this year he got me the JHS Notaklön, which was an absolutely epic gift. Thank you so much, Andy. I'm really, really stoked to do this. But if any of you have kind of followed the history of that, it was just delayed for a while. So he actually didn't get the Notaklön shipped to him until July of this year. He had bought it in December, and then he and I live in different cities, so I was not in the same city as him until about a week ago. So that was when I finally got this box. And then that happened to line up really perfectly with right around when the birthday of Letters was. So Andy's suggestion was to build this on the channel kind of for all of you to see, and I thought it would be really cool to kind of double it up with a bit of a birthday celebration for the album. So we're going to listen to some music, we're going to listen to the record through, I'm going to tell some stories, just kind of talk about what went into everything and touch on some of the many bits of stuff that's in front of me while I build this pedal. I also figured, why not have a drink while I do it? And since we are in the process of just going through stuff that we've made, I'm going to be talking about an album that I made while building a pedal, and this is a pale ale that I brewed myself. So I say let's just crack that open and get started. Also, some of the stuff that's on this table in front of me has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with the album or pedal building. One of those being, this has nothing to do with, I was going to say that beer has nothing to do with writing music, but I would be lying because I definitely went through my fair share of beers while writing this album. So I may be lying to you. Ooh. I've only had 2 of these since I finished it, and they haven't had great heads, and this one has a decent head. Pretty stoked about that. But, for instance, there is a copy of Berserk on this table that has absolutely nothing to do with writing this album or producing this album whatsoever. The whiskey over there does have something to do with the album. This aloe vera plant also has nothing to do. I've almost killed it like 6 times, and it keeps coming back, so I'm very proud of this plant. This was a wedding gift, so thanks Eli, who got me this for my wedding. Anyway, I think we should probably just jump right in. So here we go. I am gonna kind of open this box up, talk through it, what I see in the box, and then I'm gonna just press play on the album. We're gonna kind of listen to it, and I'm gonna talk about it live, and it'll be a good time. All right, there we have it. I'm hoping that the full instructions are in this booklet and not just on my phone. It looks like they are. And it says I'm going to need a flathead and tweezers. Hold off a sec while I grab a flathead and tweezers. But there's a lot of stuff in this box. All right, let's see. Notaklön. It's not a klon until you build it. The klon is a registered trademark. The JHS pedals Notaklön is in no way affiliated with or endorsed by klon. Good to know. Cool. Oh, this is so sweet. I'm stoked. Got a little join our email list card. We've got some stuff. Got some knobs. Some good looking black knobs right there. We have the goop. You see the goop? I'm very excited about the goop. I have seen many things about this goop, and I'm going to use as much goop as humanly possible. I think if I don't finish the tube of goop, I haven't gooped hard enough. Yeah, I'm going to goop very hard. I'm not taking that back. Don't twist my words, but I'm going to do the goop. Got a nice little clacking sound. Ooh, that's nice. All right, we've got the casing for the pedal. This is a nice material right there. That feels good. Ooh. And in here, in this bag, is the circuit board. Sweet. All right. You got a nice little, I love the way this box looks. What is that? What do we got here? Oh, and we got a sticker. But the sticker, I think, is going to go on the pedal. I think it says that the pedal complies with laws, right? This device complies with Part 15 of the FCC rules. Yep. All right, so it looks like that's there. But this is a sweet box. Really like the way it, like the black on the inside. Looks rad. All right. I am going to grab I've got a Phillips head right here. I'm going to grab a flathead, and I'm going to grab tweezers really fast. All right, you guys, here's the deal. I don't have proper tweezers, but I have this Allen wrench. This adjustable wrench, and I can tweeze with it. So we're going to see if that works. And if not, I will head to the hardware store. Anyway, here we go. It's time to get started. It's time to tell some stories. It's time to build this pedal. It's really not bad. Well, I'm going to hit play. No, I'm not. Well, while I open this, I thought I might just give a heads up. No, I'm going to hit play. I'm going to listen to the album. And anytime I think of something to talk about, I'm going to talk about it. Man, I'm scared of breaking this. So here we go. I'm going to be listening to it here, but I am going to patch the audio into the actual video. So song 1 is a track called Everything Fades. Actually, I might just pause it immediately. Everything Fades is kind of an interesting title. You might think. You might also not think at all that it's an interesting title. Because it's kind of inspired by Ecclesiastes. So if Everything Fades, it's kind of like an ecclesiastical song. I think if you even have no biblical background whatsoever, you probably are familiar with this one poem in that book, which is that there's a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time for living, a time for dying. There's a time for everything under the sun, and I kind of tried to pull that into this idea of Everything Fading. And Everything Fades is actually the last song that I wrote, I think, for this album, which is funny because it goes first, but I felt like it was just kind of setting the scene for the record. So I tried to sort of intro this album that is all about transition and seasons of change, and it's telling that in the format of letters, which is why I call it Letters to God, Man, Myself. I'm either speaking to my creator, I'm speaking to the world and the people around me, or I'm speaking to me. And so Everything Fades is kind of saying like, hey, this season's going to be gone. It's also playing with that proverbial story, you have like the king who asks, I think it's like a jester, to tell him something that will make him happy when he's sad and will humble him when like everything's going well. I'm probably getting the details wrong, and the person says, this too shall pass. It's supposed to kind of be in that same vein of saying that all of the things that are happening will also pass. So it's kind of like everything that I'm about to say will also pass away. So anyway, that's kind of the basis of this song. Ooh, I am scared of this.
Gone by the end of the day, everything will fade.
Whew.
You out.
That's spooky.
Everything fades.
Okay, so it looks like now we take...
Cement all of the beauty in
We're going to see if this
fabric of your fingers.
this little wrench thing will work.
First fray follows, lose the picture, everything fades. I'm learning how to swim in shallow waters, gazing at the ocean, asking where it begins. Everything fades. Everything fades.
I might snap it the other direction. There we go. All right, it looks like this will work. If it's just for snapping, we are all clear.
Satisfaction found in reflective bias, pretend resolution.
Or so I believe.
Touch the screen and turn to gold, unattainable. Pine weeps of joy while
That's a point. One of my favorite, absolutely favorite lyrics in this whole album is that one right there. The touch the screen and turn to gold lyric. I am very proud of it. Because the lyric is Midas touch the screen and turn to gold. So I get to make a Midas reference. And I just think, like, I don't know. I love that lyric. I'm really proud of it. Sometimes you have lyrics that you're just like, oh, this is okay. That's one that I'm just, like, super, super stoked about. Every time that I hear this album, I think, that's cool. There is a thing in this that says meatballs anyone. There's a meatballs anyone ? Message on this. I don't know if you can see it. It's right in there. That's fun. Which, actually, on that same note, that's kind of why this is here. So my friend Laurel did a bunch of artwork for me somewhat recently, and this is kind of her interpretation of that lyric of the touch the screen and turn to gold. You can see the hand. It's like done in the style of the, like, God's creation of Adam hand. And I, especially as I've gone back and listened to this album, I realize, wow, I really have some hatred and some issues for social media culture. And you'll notice that if you haven't heard it before. but I'm talking about it. I talk about it a lot, and in that lyric, I kind of introduce a theme that goes along for the course of this whole album. It says to discard this, so we're just throwing it on the floor. And that theme is that as we become more succumbed to this social media technological age that we live in, that we become slaves to it. And so I kind of put a twist. Once again, this song is just a bunch of proverbial lyrics stashed together. I put a twist on that in the song with this lyric of touch the screen and turn to gold, because I'm using like the Midas story where everything he touches turns to gold, but rather I'm saying that we are doomed to the same end because of this like social media culture that we live in. It looks like I have safely removed the things. I think I did it right. Right? I have to do the other one. Okay. Anyway, back to the song.
All the bitter whispers go on, these eyes so damn far-sighted, and everything's been.
It says, "Wait, where did Mom go?" And Ingvar Komprad was here. I don't know what that means. These are fun little messages. You guys are really trying to give us some stuff. This whole like snapping the circuit board thing, I feel like JHS just wants me to be terrified the whole time I'm making this. I know, because I watched their video where Josh's kids are doing it. I know that it's idiot proof, but what if I'm dumber than an idiot? That is the question. Do we know?
These roofs might shelter from the rain, but where's my shelter for the pain?
All right. The scary stuff is over, you guys. And we are on song 2 from Letters to God, Man, Myself. This is House on Rubber Soles. This one does kind of have a funny story, and I'll tell you right after this chorus. I just picked the hair out of my face. I'll tell you right after this chorus why this song's a little bit funny. This definitely kind of gets into the groove of the album more. This is also one of the very first songs that I wrote for this album. Yeah, and I mean that kind of goes in with the story too. I wrote this very, very long time ago. All right. Once the tabs are removed, you will have 2 wrenches. Wrench 1, wrench 2. Should say 11 and 10. Cool. Foot switch PCB and a potentiometer PCB. All right. Pausing before we go into verse 2 where this song picks up. In the year 2019, which felt very close until recently, I did not have a place to live, and I was living with my good friend Nathan over the summer. He was the best man at my wedding. I was the best man at his wedding, which was cool. During that time, I was essentially homeless. I wasn't like real homeless, but let's be real. I was homeless. What am I doing? I need to pay attention. Okay. Anyway, I was essentially homeless. The first chunk of time that I was living with him, I did not quite know. I had trouble finding his house. It was a little bit hidden on some nights. And I had asked him this one day. I was like, hey man, can you leave your porch light on? Because I have trouble finding your house. And I'm out right now, so I'll be back in a little bit. And he was like, yeah, sure. And I wrote that into this song lyric. It's like, it does kind of sound like it maybe has deeper meaning. Like, you know, this feeling that you don't belong somewhere. And that is what the song's about. It's about how, like, people create our community and not places. But this next lyric is literally me being lost in a neighborhood at night. Anyway, enjoy. That's the one. Can't tell. I'm guessing. Here we go. Ah, look at that. I have never built a pedal, you guys. I'm not that cool. I love all the little sound nuggets that are in this section of the song. They're really fun for me. Actually, you know who else said they loved it? Another strange connection. I am currently building a JHS pedal. The person who mixed my album is an amazing human being whose name is Addison Savan, and I think that's how I say his name. He hasn't corrected me yet. He mixed it, and I found him because he worked on the JHS show, and I watched it a lot because I am a nerdy little guitar boy who thinks that everything that comes out of Josh Scott's mouth is law. And so I had watched that pedal their show a lot. Ooh, fun. And when Addison announced that he was leaving the show to kind of pursue more pro audio stuff, I reached out to him and said, hey man, what are the chances that you work on this album that I just finished? And he said, send me some stuff. And the first song that I sent him was a little tune called House on Rubber Soles, the one that you're listening to right now. And I remember him saying that he really liked all of the kind of the little sonic nuggets that are in it. And the more I listen to it, the more I like them. So, yet another odd connection on this birthday of this album. I should not be doing this, you guys. I'm such a clumsy person. I was going to say this is like adult Lego, but I think Legos already are for adults. Especially, man, actually as a wedding gift to ourselves, my wife and I bought the like Lego Rivendell. So sick. Took like 3 weeks to build. Oh boy. I was just thinking, why didn't it tell me I needed a wrench? Here they are, providing the wrench. I'd be curious to know if every PCB board that's included in a pedal has wrenches. You know, if I pop open any of my other pedals, will there be a little wrench inside? Should I give it a try? All right, this song is the sleeper. This song is called 7/8. This song has served two purposes on this album. First, I thought I needed a transition tune. Second, I was like, you can't just jump into Jericho, which is song 4. You need to like get ready to jump into Jericho, because Jericho's insane. 7/8 started as a challenge to myself because you're not going to believe this. I said I would like to write a song that is in a 7/8 time signature as someone with very little theory background. So I wrote this song that is called 7/8, and it is in 7/8 time. It's almost all synthesizers. I don't think there's any guitar in it. I actually can't be certain right now. But the whole idea of this song was House on Rubber Souls kind of has this like really beautiful outlook of being like, oh, I've gone into this time of change in my life and the people who I'm around give me a home. And then 7/8 is like, bam, you're whacked by dissonance. Like you just discover that life is never going to be what you think it is. And really it's taking you on a journey from saying like, all right, you think that you're kind of in a state of flux, but you've got it together. And then now you're going to drop into this recognition that everything is out of your control. And so this song is about dissonance, and it's in a dissonant time signature. There's some cool, one of my favorite things in this, there are actually 2 synth lines that play over each other. One of those synth lines is in 8/8 time, and the other one is in 7/8. Some of you are going to say 8/8. Geez, Josh, like just say 4/4. It probably is the same. I don't know. That's how I counted it. But it sounds really, really cool to me because they like meet in the middle in different spots, and it keeps it entertaining. Anyway, this is one of my favorite tracks on this album.
I see dissonance everywhere I look, like pages torn out of Kafka books, and the feelings inside wanna leave me running dry. See discolor in your eyes.
Do you guys think this goes facing up or facing down? I think it goes facing up. That is my guess. But does it? purpose would have served not doing that.
This is my heart bleeding in my hands. I ripped it out for you. I'd force you to take it and mistreat it in your hands. I know that's what I do. I saw my reflection in a dirty stream. I didn't look like the man that I was supposed to be. Now a distant heart beats in my empty chest, while every day you taunt me with this loneliness. And now the walls we built around it black out the sky.
Jericho is one of my absolute favorite songs on this album. I should probably tell you guys some stories about it while I keep working on this. This is shockingly fast and easy. I kind of thought it was going to take longer. Well, this is a good time, especially as we get close to those lyrics. So, Jericho. Took me forever. Took everyone involved forever. Here are some sticks that Kaique used to play in that song. They have it written on them. There's a broken one somewhere because he broke a number of sticks on Jericho, and they're just beaten the heck up from that song. You've also got this lovely... I put them out here. These are the tubes that I recorded on. I think that they were probably starting to go bad while I was recording, but I just kept going. But I love the tone that I had on guitar at the beginning of that song. That's one of my favorite things. I'm not going to tell you which song, but if you go... There is one Manchester Orchestra song that I was listening to, that was on an album I was listening to a lot while I was making this album. I totally ripped off the intro. I didn't even know it until later, but whoops. And so there's so many guitar layers on it, and that was really fun. And there was this like screaming layer and all this stuff. There also, I think this song is really made by the keys parts. My friend Andy, the same one who got me the thing that I'm building right now, he wrote all of the keys and recorded all the keys for this project. And actually, I mean, even once again, another funny connection, he ran his keyboard through a clone in recording this like crazy key part that's at the beginning of that song. That's also why this is out here, because I want to say Andy was in a band in England called Evergreen, and they have this album called The Mountain, the Giant, the Sea. It's not on streaming right now, but I know you can get it on Bandcamp. I'll put a link in this video. And he's the one who did all the keys. He was also the keyboardist for this band. And this is just a great album and actually inspired me a lot in the making of this album. So sorry, Andy, if it bothers you that I'm shouting you out, but there's another shout out to the Evergreen guys, because that's a killer record. And it was really cool to have him put some flavor on this album. The other thing that's out there is you can see the Shure Green Bullet over here, and I used that in layering the screams on this track, which were really, really cool and really fun to record. Although I think I've gotten a lot better at doing it since making this album, but you know, you live and you learn. Anyway, man, I love it. There's also this funny kind of lyric, this like, why don't you make like a mountain part, is my play on the, you know, like, why don't you make like a hill and get over it, or why don't you make like a tree and leave. It was this idea that like when we've got these really massive things in front of us, of what if we were in a place where we saw mountains not as obstacles, but that their innate nature is to fall down. And like, if we could bring ourselves to believe that about the obstacles in our paths, what would it do to who we are? So that's kind of this anthem at the end. I also recorded 5 or 6 of my friends singing this, like, why don't you, or I will walk around them part, which is a reference to the story of Jericho. And then I duplicated them like 8 times to make this cool choir. So anyway, really cool song. Took a lot of work. Really, really fun to play live. And I have something else to tell you about that at the end of this video.
Oh, why don't you make like a mountain? Oh, why don't you make like a mountain? Oh, why don't you make like a mountain and fall down?
Not a whole lot to tell you about this one. This is Love and Dissonance is really simple and stripped back, and for a reason. I wrote this song with a friend of mine while a bunch of our other friends were playing a game. We were just sitting with a guitar, and he actually, the one who co-wrote this, is singing harmonies on this track. But you know, a bunch of our friends were playing around, and we had just gone through breakups, and so we wrote this track, and it felt kind of fitting in this album after Jericho. That's like, after this being willing to be vulnerable again and stepping out, you're just like immediately heartbroken, which was interesting.
I reminisce. I can't seem
It's looking like I'm really tearing through this thing.
From my head, it's not death, but it feels the same. The pain you bring won't go away. The look you make burned in my brain. I wanna write you out of my story, but I just can't seem to burn the page. I just wanna have the strength to move on. Would that be wrong? I wish
may need a thinner flathead screwdriver than the one I have right now.
I wish I could erase you from my mind and find that eternal sunshine. I don't want to love you anymore. All this pain belongs to you. I don't want to love you anymore. All this pain belongs. I don't want to love you anymore. I've fallen in love with my pain.
Let's do that a little bit more. All right, this song is called Winter. Winter is my absolute 100%, no doubt about it, favorite song on the album. I love it. There is a friend of mine named Hannah who sings on this song, and her vocal on it is beautiful. This also touches on, I'm gonna pause real quick. I want to highlight another thing on this table. I'm gonna move this guy, and that is this. This is the Chase Bliss Mood. This is the Chase Bliss Mood. This pedal is used on so many songs on this album, and it is the absolute VIP of Winter. This is you're hearing this like really cool pitch shifted shimmering, and that is this pedal doing that. Anyway, and that is this pedal that's making those sounds. It's in the slip function with the pitch shifted all the way up, and I just think it's really pretty. This is pretty much on in some form, like every song that's on here.
Summer, don't let my blood boil. Sign a running river. My strings, they're all frayed. My mouth waters for something more.
I'm also not going to tell you what this song's about, because I think some of the beauty in it is whatever it is that this song means to you.
Kill my soul before my body. grown weary from walking on concrete, so don't let me grow away from you. Don't let go. Away from you. Away from you. Spring, don't let me forget. Winter's bitter sorrow. Don't let this all be lament, but a reminder.
The bridge section of this song might also be one of my favorites. A lot of our ideas for this were that the acoustic drums would like slowly blend in with the electronic drums. So Kaike and I spent a good chunk of time running his SPD through my pedal board, and just finding some really cool sounds through that. And then we, right at this part, are just slowly easing in the acoustic drums, which I think sounds really, really, really cool. All right. This is the part we've all been waiting for. The gooping. There's like a little attachment. Should I goop with the attachment? I think it's too small of a tip, so I'm going to cut the end off. No. Oh, you guys, the goop won't stop. We can't stop the goop. Can't stop the goop. Gooping everywhere. All the goops. Alright, now it recommends that I sign and date the back plate. That's fun. It does require 24 hours to dry, it says. So we're going to continue this video for 24 hours. I hope you're ready for that. trying to remember if I had anything else to show you too.
Winter, don't let me grow cold. Beside a dying fire, my veins all dried out. Whiskey singing, I don't wanna feel anymore. Oh, winter, don't let me grow cold.
Cool thing about this track is the sound of the water dripping and the thaw and the birds. That was recorded at the location that we recorded most of this album, just with my iPhone speaker.
After liquor let me down. I've forgotten all my dreams, like all the friends who chose to leave. Do I remember what I look like now? I'm looking for faith in a coffee cup and motivation in a pill. In your arms I still don't know.
That's what we wrote. Happy birthday letters, 10/27/24. All right, I have killed the GoPro camera now because you don't super need to see what's on the table anymore. We are going to keep listening to the rest of this album. I guess it doesn't really matter. There's no top or bottom to this. All right, 60 seconds. This song hurts. Well, there's a song about a breakup on this album. I think this is the saddest song. And you want to talk about me being pissed at social media? This is the one. I am very upset with that world in this song. And this is kind of just me talking about and reflecting on this idea of like a rapid culture where art is all shortened. The inspiration of this actually came from watching a video where someone was like, hey, we're gonna write a song in 60 seconds. And I was like, how is that art? Like, you're not writing a song if you're creating it in 60 seconds. So this song starts off really pretty and is supposed to musically take on this kind of idea of the destruction of something beautiful. Which is why you'll notice that by the very end of this song, every acoustic instrument is pretty much gone. So it starts off with this, like all this reverb and this playing, and at the end it's just this dirty synth line. But Kaique did some of the most amazing drum work on this song. We don't actually know how he wrote it, because when we went back to play this song live, which we actually just dropped a live video, Kaique had no idea how he played what he played the first time, which has been a bit of a joke between us, because like sometimes we were in this cabin by ourselves and we're recording these songs, and it sort of feels like a dream. So this stuff kind of comes out of you, and it's important that you document how to write that you document how to play the music that you write, because you may forget. Right. We have tightened these down, but for the sake of the goop, I'm going to leave it face down. I will make another video on how this sounds, and we'll see if I did it correctly. Distract me from As a thing I guess I can point out now, apparently you can build the JHS Notaklön in less time than it takes to listen to Letters to God, Man, and Myself. So, if you were wondering, there you have it. All of the samples that are playing in this part, here's kind of an interesting thing. I just recorded myself swiping through TikTok, so you just get a bunch of madness. I'm also reading from a number of different books, one of which is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and then it's also just scrolling through news feeds.
On the TV just won't satisfy me. I run away, but my own customized devil's on my phone. I go back to 2011 and laugh with no consequences. Can I feel like that again, or was it marketed away?
So this is where that synth line comes in. This is all just played on a Korg mini log.
Can you write me a song in 60 seconds or
I still
less?
don't fully understand how I wrote this part. I was a really grumpy dude in regards to this.
While your soul's around my neck, I want vibrancy and subtlety, and please include some mumbling to mandate playback 4 to 7 times.
Alright, let's see if I just get an explosion of goop while I'm doing this.
Turn you on, watch me while I dance, come on, move to me till you move on. Blink until your vision's gone, we got your wallet, play along, no feeling.
Save some goop for later. I never know when I'll need to goop something. I genuinely may go back and re-goop the whole thing. I just want to test it. Goop.
60-second song.
Dude, that was super fun. I'm really this is sweet. Like I said, I don't know how it sounds, but this is a really fun idea to buy a pedal that you have to kind of go through a personal relationship building side of things. I love that. That whole bit on drums at the end there was a joke, and we kept it because it's funny. This song is called Something Different. It is about my now wife. It's super simple. It's just two instruments.
I think that love was something else, like what's in movies and fairy tales. Now I see it's not the director's cut. It's something different.
It's kind of like the same motif the whole time too, which was an interesting idea. It was sort of this, what if we just changed the relationship between two motifs instead of changing the motifs themselves. The vocal melody honestly changes more than anything in this song.
Doesn't turn out right, I'd be happy to sit in silence with you. And date nights aren't cinematic, but it's still just you and me. I can sit with a movie and a drink and be content, because you're with me. I used to always need to be talking. If I stopped, the voices in my head would stir. But with you I can sit in silence, and it's enough. It's enough. I used to look for what I read about, something I could understand.
I just sit here and listen to this with you guys. Tell you guys any more fun facts that I got.
Myself, but you're something different. The way you smile, and when you laugh, when you're with me.
I think this is actually my second most streamed song on Spotify. Not anywhere, not on the other platforms, but on Spotify for whatever reason. And it has gotten some radio play too. I love this one. I've actually been surprised by how many other people really love this song, because I felt that this song was written for me. This was a song that I wanted, and it was about the woman that I was in love with and am in love with, and it's just like cool to see something like this have an impact on people who aren't me. Oh man, here goes. This is the last of the Homebrew.
And I couldn't write it.
I have too many hobbies, you guys. And I really liked just having a really slow fade out on that one. Next up, though, the happiest song on this album. This is Live Like You're Alive. Honestly, this is my least favorite song on the album, but from what I've heard and how it's done in streaming, this is a lot of people's favorite song on the album. This is the second song that I ever wrote for it. I wrote it in around 2019, 2020-ish. It's super simple, just this little riff that goes the whole time. And it's just this idea, like, it's all based around, like, loving yourself, and how I don't like the phrase, live like you're dying, because then the whole time you're living, you're just being reminded of death. And what kind of life is it where all you're thinking about is death? So I said you should live like you're alive, and I wrote this song about it. I've noticed more and more it's almost like got this like poppy, almost like a Linkin Park like repeating riff while there's this like drum beat carrying through the whole thing. The chorus was very difficult for me to do, because it kind of does a reverse energy thing. It's big in the verses, it's low in the chorus. There's a really neat blend of my clean and dirty tone on guitar in this. I think, though, even in recording, I think this probably was the fastest one for me and Kaike. Like, recording the drums on this maybe took 4 or 5 takes, like split amongst the different parts, and the guitars probably took a day. This was a really simple song. Also, my friend Hannah, who sings the beautiful secondary vocal in Winter, is also singing in this one, as is my good friend Eli, who, if you want to check out Eli Cartwright's music, he's got an amazing chunk of EPs that he just put out. So there's a chunk of vocalists in this that are all very, very talented people. I think this, I don't know how, I can't remember how long Everything Fades in. This also may be the shortest song on this album, because I have a habit of writing stupid long songs. This part is very hard to sing live. was also a whole debate about this song and whether or not we wanted to release it as a single because it's at the very end of the album. But I thought this was the most single-friendly song. I also thought that it kind of belongs here on the album. Like, you've got this whole narrative of like being lost and trying to figure out who you are and find your home, and that having this like hopeful anthem right there towards the end felt like it told the story well. But now we are on the last two songs, but I consider this one song. They were written as one song together. In Ruins is there for me, and that actually kind of leads me. I wanted to tell the story about this while this song starts. So this is an almost finished bottle of single malt Scotch whiskey. I wrote this song, In Ruins, while I was in Scotland with my dad. So the two of us went on a trip through Scotland. We saw like a lot of these really beautiful and amazing places, and it was super inspiring to me. And at one point I overheard this conversation of this older gentleman saying that, you know, the world was doomed, that it was ending. And that was kind of when I started writing this song. Was I was hearing that conversation, at the same time I was seeing these castles that had, you know, kind of become ruins, which is where the song comes from, but then they were overgrown with like moss and vines, and they were actually beautiful in their being ruined. So I wrote this song, and kind of goes with this, like, how I wanted to close the album was with this idea that just because things fade, as everything fades introduced, that doesn't mean it's not good or not beautiful, and that maybe we can find beauty in the fact that things fade. But the story of this whiskey, this is a one of 2,500? Yes, this is a one of 2,500 bottles that I got at the Cragganmore Distillery in Scotland. And I have only drank it in terms of this album. So when I finished, when Kaike and I finished recording, had some. When the album was sent to mixing, we had some. When we released it, I had some. And when we did our release show, I had some. The remainder of this, I have made a deal with myself that I do not get to finish this bottle until I hear my album or my music played on vinyl. So this will not be consumed until that happens. And I don't know if it gets worse, but if you want to help me finish this bottle of whiskey, I would ask that you support on Patreon, because that lets me afford to do a vinyl production run. Producing, 100 vinyls, which is about the minimum for most places, is going to cost between like $1,500 and $2,500. So it's just not something that I have the ability to drop all the money on overnight. But it is a dream of mine, and so that's the rule. I get to finish that when it's on vinyl, and I would, if you are interested in having a vinyl, then go support on Patreon on whatever tier that you want, or sometimes I sell little things on there, and you can grab some, and that will one, help me finish this amazingly good whiskey, but also get you the opportunity to have Letters to God, Man, and Myself on vinyl, which is a dream of mine. But if it's something that you want, I will. Then you get to be part of it too. So that's the story of this bottle. Is I don't get to finish that until I hear this album on vinyl. This is another track too, where the Chase Bliss mood is used constantly. There's actually 3 different settings of this pedal used on this track, and I have it set up so that my Boss ES5 automatically switches to them through the MIDI on this pedal. So they're crazy. One of them is even, I have the Boss ES5 set to do an automatic turning of the time switch on this, which sounds really crazy. Also, thanks to the guys at Chase Bliss because when I don't have a guitar store near me and was hoping to test this out, and I sent them an email, and they actually gave me a discount on this long before I had any clout whatsoever. So this was really, really, they're just good folks who make great pedals over there. This part of the song I did for me. I wanted this massive drop in it, because that's what I love at shows. If you isolate the audio, it's just craziness. There's so much junk going on all at once. This was a really fun one to play live when we did it at the release show too. A fun fact is, in mastering this, Caden Boffman, who mastered the project, the feedback I kept giving him was that I wanted the drop to be louder. And so what he did is he actually made the entire rest of the song quieter so that this part was just absolute chaos. So like I said before, In Ruins and Vision were recorded as one song, so this fade between the two is pretty stinking seamless. And Andy did this cool little detuned keyboard bit here that I love. And I loved this idea of kind of saying, this was the whole album, this was all these songs, this is the journey we've been on, and now we're here. So I included all of these samples from all of the previous songs. Part of the idea here with this one too is a little bit of saying, like, where have my eyes been fixed this time? What's the common denominator on this whole thing? And singing Be Thou My Vision. It's also because Be Thou My Vision is one of my dad's favorite songs, and I kind of wanted to pay homage to him a little bit with this one. So this is a little bit for him. I don't know if he knows that, but that's part of it too. This one felt like magic recording too. It was so quick for us to create. A funny thing too is that Kaike didn't actually know what this song was when we were recording it. I just gave him the guitar part recorded through and some dynamics notes. None of the vocals was there. The song map wasn't really there, and so this drums is recorded without him knowing where the big points are, and he somehow nailed it first try. The album cover, too, is actually a photograph that my dad took. We edited some stuff into it, namely the chair and the letters that are floating down the river. But that is a picture that my father took that's really, really amazing. Well, that is the album. Happy birthday to it. 1 year later, man, I had a total blast building the Notaklön. Once again, I'm not flipping it over because I don't want the goop to drip yet, but I will make another video on it. But dude, this is so much fun. Super, super like a blast. And thanks to Andy for getting this for me. If you've listened to the album and supported this over the last year, I just want to thank you so much. It's been so amazing to get to make these songs and record them and perform them live a number of times. And I'm just stunned by what a gift that is. And as a bit of a celebration for this album, I've actually dropped 2 alternate versions that I think got stuck a bit in the queue this week, but they should be out either today or within the next few days. Keep an eye out. And that is a live version of Jericho will go to streaming platforms. There's the video for that's on the channel. And it was just an absolute blast, and people seem to be a really big fan of this live version. So I've decided to release that to streaming. And then the other one, I'm calling the handwritten version of House on Rubber Souls, which is very naked recording. It's just kind of like an intimate version where I recorded it on an acoustic guitar and this upright piano that's a little bit detuned, and it sounds really, really intimate and personal. And I wanted to share it kind of in the format that I wrote the song for you to hear. But thank you so much for tuning in, for watching this video today. And I hope that if you haven't checked out Letters to God, Man, and Myself, that you would check it out. I hope you'll check out these alternate versions that are coming out. And I just want to thank everyone for their support for this last year. If you want to know about more of what's next and kind of be part of these upcoming songs and part of the community, I'd really encourage you to go to the Ragged Oak Patreon. There's a ton of stuff on there that you don't even have to be a paid member to do. There is a free tier, and you get a lot of info and good stuff. It's just the best place for me to create a good community. Otherwise, you can also you can follow on Instagram at Ragged Oak and TikTok at Ragged Oak. But the main place where I interact with fans is going to be on Patreon. Thanks so much for your support this year, and a happy birthday to Letters to God, Man, and Myself.